League softball continues this evening from San Bernardino. The girls from SoCal have found their stride, while their friends from the north look to bounce back. It's a battle for the Golden State. Next. We wrap up day 5 at the West Regional in San Bernardino. Al Houghton Stadium, the site. It's Fontana, California, and Martinez, California in an elimination game. Hi, everybody. I'm Trey Bender alongside Francesca Anea. State bragging rights here, but more importantly, a berth in the semifinals tomorrow against Arizona. And when you talk about the best softball in the country, a lot of it in this state.
And we're going to be in for a treat tonight because California produces some of the best softball players. It's going to be a tough competitive game.
Tatiana Serrano has been doing the job in the circle.
And she started off with a slow start, but really picked things up as the tournament goes along. Locating her fastball is key for Serrano.
And they've been swinging the bats as well, also the Southbridge Little Leaguers, but Mackenzie Stenson, a real weapon for Northern California.
Yes, Stenson has the most power out of any player we've seen in this tournament, has been one hopping the fence as you take a look, just drives it right down to center field. And now we're starting to see how they want to pitch around her because of the threat with her bat.
This team separated by just 440 miles. Both have wins against Hawaii. Both have losses to Arizona. The winner will get Flagstaff, Arizona tomorrow. First pitch coming up. Season on the line for Southern California and Northern California. Fontana and Martinez squaring off here for the right to play tomorrow against Arizona in the semifinals at the West Regional. Let's take a look at the batting order. First for the Fontana team. They will make a move with Gomez batting second, and actually, she has been in the middle part of the order, but batting second has been very good behind Pineda. And Trinity Reyes and Uglisic have also been effective in the third and fourth spots in the order. And facing Stevie Fong here, who has suffered a win and a loss in her 2 outings thus far.
Yeah, and she's been under the radar as far as performance. She's done well, but just hasn't really put in a really big start yet. She falls behind the batters occasionally, so she's going to look to try to get ahead of an aggressive, swinging Southern California team.
It's a team that has found their stride after losing to Arizona 3-1, 5-4 win over Hawaii, 10-0 victory over Utah as Fong misses upstairs.
I think that SoCal-Hawaii game was probably one of my top favorites that we've seen this week.
There's a bunt and a fair ball down the line, and out at first base is Pineda. Great play made by Mariah Titlow with Pineda's speed down the line.
And this is a hard play to make as a third baseman because Pineda bunts it so hard and it's spinning away from Titlow out there. Just be able to get that ball there in time. Pineda has the speed.
Now Tatiana Gomez, who had a couple singles in the last game and has been a good pitcher, playing third base, and she fouls off the first offering from Fong. Southbridge Little Leaguers just down the road, 14 miles away in Fontana. She has had a big regional, a couple runs driven in thus far. They were surprised a little bit by Arizona in their first game, but I think we're realizing how good Arizona is, 3-0, and maybe the favorite to win the regional here. And they have bounced back since that loss and really played good softball.
Yeah, they're basically stunned by Arizona.
Gomez, a big cut, 2-2.
And that Hawaii game was big for them because it really put pressure on them and had a lot of players have to come up clutch, and that's what championship experience is about.
Maybe the best played game of the tournament in terms of the fundamentals, and that is hammered into left center by Gomez. On her way to second, and in there with a stand-up double.
Well, we talked about how important it is to make in-game adjustments, and that's what Gomez does. She goes up in the zone to get this pitch, and she was swinging and missing off of that just a pitch ago. Excellent adjustment by Gomez to get herself a stand-up double.
Now Trinity Reyes, an RBI opportunity inside ball one. Bone Crusher, my favorite nickname in this West Regional. Strike called in the inside corner. Jeff Bronner, home plate umpire here. Mike Reagan, Brett Whipple, and David Bennett in the field. 1-1 is pulled foul by Bone Crusher.
Yeah, that's your favorite nickname for sure.
How about these volunteer umpires putting in the work here in the heat? We hit 107 degrees this afternoon. Here's a 1-2, bounced up there. A date in the semifinal round tomorrow is on the line for these two. Washington and Oregon in the first semifinal. And then Arizona awaits the winner of this one. 2-2 pulled, and that's a foul ball. Fair ball, they're gonna say it's in play, and now they hold it up. Third base umpire was looking for a call over there from David Bennett. Finally, the home plate ump, Jeff Braun, says, hold on, retreat. Let's do it again.
And Braun was pretty emphatic about it being a foul ball. He called it right away. So take a look in your lower screen. The moment that he notices it does not touch the third baseman Titlow's glove, he calls foul.
2-2 is inside. Umpires have done a good job at making the right call. Sometimes it takes time, but even with video review, it takes time, but they've gotten the call right here throughout this regional. And there's a swing and a miss, and Reyes strikes out. 2 down.
And this is a huge strikeout for Fong. We're seeing that she loves to throw that rise ball. That's gonna be her go-to pitch. And Reyes just cannot make the adjustment.
Now Jocelyn Uglasic, the catcher, rips it to center, hard hit ball. Gomez rounding third. Here's the relay. And it's cut off by the pitcher as Gomez scores an RBI for Uglasic.
I mean, Southern California has just been rolling ever since that Hawaii game. Their offense has not stopped, and it doesn't stop with Uglasic here as she attacks the very first pitch. Outside corner, bangs it right up to the middle.
I don't think the ball would have gotten to home plate. You saw where Fong knocked it down there. First pitch to Salas, and it's fouled off. Giving the look was Titlow, the third baseman. Andres Salas, big Angels fan. And a fan of Rachel Garcia, the great UCLA Bruin. Strike on the corner, 0-2.
She's a good one to be a fan of. Player of the Year, National Player of the Year last year.
What a workhorse she was in the circle.
She was fun to watch.
0-2. Flare to the shortstop, a Pallet has it, and that ends the inning. A run across, though, as Southern California strikes first. They get a double and then an RBI single.
Jocelyn Uglasic coming up big for her team, getting Southern California on the board.
Southern California on the board first in this elimination game, leading Northern California 1-0, bottom of the first inning. This Northern California lineup really good at the top, and they make a move here with Stenson into the 2-hole. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, she's normally been in that full 4-hole hitter, but they move her up to 2 mainly because she's seeing the ball so well and she's hitting it well. And when you move her up, and especially when they're pitching around her, she's just going to be able to get on base more. So you start off the inning with already having someone on first.
Fong with tremendous speed. If she can get on, they could get an early run here with the way Stenson has been swinging the stick. Great fans here at Al Houghton Stadium. Some NorCal fans making the move down here from Martinez in the East Bay area. And Tatiana Serrano gets the call again. She picked up the win against Utah.
Yeah, and Serrano really just been turning it on as his last 2 games. She's someone who's going to stay around the zone, and that's where she got in trouble in the first game. She has to locate her pitches, especially her fastball in the outside corner.
Gomez has the other win against Hawaii. And Serrano, the daughter of Carlos Serrano, the manager for this Southern California team. They have the lead after an RBI single from Uglasic, the cleanup hitter. And this will be a tough first batter to deal with. Stevie Fong sprays the ball around, has great speed on the base pass. Pitcher versus pitcher. First offering is a fastball outside for ball 1.
And Fong's a tough batter to defend because she can do all 3. She can swing, she can put a bunt down, and she can slap. So you need to try to make sure you play in a safe situation to defend all 3.
And very patient up there. Keeps an eye on that one that misses. They're playing back on that infield grass, not anticipating bunt here. 3-0.
Right now, Serrano just trying to figure out the zone. Home plate umpire Jeff Braun does not like it high, so she's going to have to make these adjustments quickly.
And there's the strike on the corner.
And you see she made it right there, just being able to bring it down in that lower half.
Hits that foul, third base side. Tatiana Gomez over there, giving a look. You could just see the confidence building with Southridge Little Leaguers after their win over Hawaii. That carried over in a run rule victory the next game against Utah. A lot of people anticipating this matchup. Here's the 3-2. Ball 4, good start for Fong. She's aboard. And now, one of the top power hitters in this West Regional, Mackenzie Stenson, who we highlighted in the open.
You gotta be careful when pitching to Stenson right now, especially because Serrano can bring it. She can supply the power, and so does Stenson. A lot of times when you have a power pitcher like Tatiana Serrano is, as a hitter, all you have to do is get to contact and she supplies the rest of the power for you.
She has big fly potential, and that's saying something here. 225 to take it out of here. Hits the ball hard on a line. We've seen 4 inside the park home runs in this regional. Strike on the corner, good location there.
That's a great pitch from Serrano. That's where she needs to live against Stenson, right in that river on the outside part. That's perfectly placed.
One, two. Misses 2-2. Stenson, a fan of Bubba Nichols. Speaking of power, UCLA hitter. Lays off of that high one, full count. Well, that would be a tempting one to go after.
And that's the spot that Serrano wanted to pitch it out, as you saw Uglasic was sitting up higher.
Three-two, pulled, and a base hit to right field for Stenson. Fong will hold on at second, and she continues to swing it well, her 5th hit of this regional.
Now Stenson makes it look easy, but this wasn't easy. She was leaning over because Serrano was pitching her so outside, but then Serrano surprises her inside, able to muscle up this ball and find a hole.
And it works out perfectly, moving her into that 2-hole. Fong and Stenson aboard, and here's Kiyomi Pallet, the shortstop, who is a power hitter as well. Strike at the knees. Tremendous athlete. We've seen her come up with some big plays defensively at shortstop. More of a contact hitter than Stenson, but provides some punch with that bat. Fouls that off.
Now, typically you have like 2 different types of power hitters. You have the power hitters that are just gonna blast it over the fence, or you have those power hitters that work those gap to gap and get their doubles. And that's what a pallet is.
Oh-2, bouncing ball to Pozos at short, flips to get the lead runner as she gets it over to Gomez. A heads-up play there. 6-5 on the put out, 1 down.
Miranda Pazos just anchors that shortstop position so well. Probably one of the best defenders here in this tournament. Just heads up, knows exactly where she's going with that ball.
Retires Fong. 2 really good shortstops here in Pozos and a Pallet. And here is Sammy Schuler, the catcher. That skips past Uglasic And an important play there as a couple runners move up to second and third.
And we see this a lot. A lot of these errors are because these players are thinking of what is the next play before they secure that current play, and that's what Uglasic did there.
Schuler stays away from that one. 2-0. She's a big fan of Kylie Perez, the Perez sisters from Martinez, California. All-Americans, softball hotbed up there in the Bay Area. Pulls it foul.
Now, this team likes a lot of UCLA players. I don't know how Cal Berkeley feels about that.
Well, when you have the Martinez products.
Oh, that's right.
That's
right.
a start. Now there's a Bubba Nichols fan. The Perez sister fans, obviously.
Rachel Garcia, they mentioned.
Right. Well, they love following them, not just because of the Perez sisters, but that's got to be a big reason why. That ball's pulled to third. Gomez coming home with it. And the tag not applied. Safe is Stenson at home. We're tied at 1.
You see Uglasic putting her hands out because she feels like they got Fong out at home plate, or excuse me, Stenson. I mean, you got to be quick with that play. You can't hesitate. And the third baseman, Gomez, certainly didn't, but the throw was just a little bit high. So we're able to take another look. The throw brings Uglasic up. And Stenson comes in hard on that slide.
Very close. And the left side of that infield has done a nice job getting the ball where it's supposed to be on those ground balls.
I mean, if that throw is maybe just is lower, it could have been a for sure out. But there's just so much pressure being placed on you. You have to be quick. You have to release it quickly.
So Sammy Schuler reaching. She's at first.
I love how competitive Uglasic is. As you see the throw come in, takes her up. Kind of looks like she's able to get in.
Video review, the call safe at home. And it was a pretty aggressive slide to get her feet down in there. She knew she was running out of time before that glove came down.
Yeah, it was almost more of like a plop than a slide into home.
This Northern California team with a win over Hawaii 7-2. They had a big 4-run first in that game and then fell to Arizona 8-7. There's some similarities with both of these teams. They both beaten Hawaii. They both lost to Arizona, and Arizona waiting in the wings for the winner of this one. And they say safe is the call. The call stands and the run scores, and we're tied up now.
As you take another look at that slide, and yeah, she definitely gets her left foot in time.
Now Mallory Hill a chance to give Martinez, California the lead. Hill, a 13-year-old, playing second base. She's also played center field this season. Looks at fastball outside. Throw down to second is on the money, and they get Schuler. Good throw from Uglasic for the second out.
Uglasic is such a competitor back there behind the plate. This is a tricky first and third play. You're not sure what she's gonna do, but she delivers a strike to second base. That is a huge gutsy play from the catcher.
Inside to Hill, 2-0. Well, now a Pallet at third. Still a chance to grab the lead here. We have seen some excellent play from catchers in this regional, and we're gonna have a catcher joining us here soon up in the booth. Somebody you know pretty well.
I do?
So that's called a tease right there.
I know, yeah. TBD.
And you got to have a little bit of an attitude as a catcher. And that ball was a well-thrown ball. 2-1 is low, 3-1 now.
Uglasic is doing it all out there as she blocks that ball to make sure that a pallet doesn't come home.
Hitters count in at the corners again. Here's a 3-1 offering. Ball 4. Hill draws the walk. Second walk given up by Serrano here in the first.
I'm not quite sure if there's some nerves coming into play here with Serrano, but she's not looking as sharp as we expected her to come out. She's falling off with her pitches, unable to really finish with her fastball on the inside corner. That's why you see it miss low.
Now Aaron Holliday with a couple runners aboard, the center fielder. High and tight, throw down to second is high and into center field, and that will score the go-ahead run as the pallet comes in. Stolen base for Hill, and what hurts there is the #1 concern should be that base runner at third base, and Northern California has the lead.
And as a catcher, Uglasic, you have to peek in. You have to see what that runner at third base is doing, and she didn't look at all. She just kind of blindly threw it. As you see, she's disappointed in herself because she's such a tough competitor. She doesn't want to make those type of mistakes. She knows better.
Had a really good throw, and then a throw that sailed a little bit, and count now 1-1 to Holliday. Kylie Perez, her favorite athlete. It's that Martinez connection. Yeah, no love for the Bears or those teams up there in Northern California. I'm sure there's love, but it's a different connection because of the Perez sisters.
We won't tell Berkeley.
2-1, driven to center. Hill rounding third. She's coming home. Here's the relay. A good one on a one-hopper to Uglasic. On the throw, Holliday will take second base. That's a good job by Salas to get it in quickly.
Yeah, just a strong, aggressive throw from the center fielder. And she's able to get it in quickly because this ball is hit so hard from Holliday. And she has to hold up. No way she's going to be able to be safe if she goes.
Could be a big inning for Martinez, California. Couple runners in scoring position now for Mariah Titlow, the third baseman.
I think this would be a good time right now for Southern California. Call timeout. Northern California's just been getting too many hits. Serrano not being as sharp.
And there you go. You were thinking the same thing that Carlos Serrano is thinking. That's the coach in you. And this is Art Gomez, the assistant coach coming out there. Serrano and Gomez, they're thinking along the same lines in terms of slowing things down here and making sure that Tatiana can get this final out.
And you're really just trying to calm your team down out there. You're not really speaking strategy. You're just trying to tell them to relax and like, hey, what do we got to do to get at this inning? We just need one good pitch right now.
Titlow, the 7th batter to come to the plate in this inning. Fastball. Strike call, delay call there from Jeff Braun. This could be reminiscent to what this Northern California team did against Hawaii. They scored 4 runs in that first inning in their first game. Kind of set the tone in that victory. Here's the 1-1. Check swing, did she go? Yep, 1-2.
And this is big for Serrano. This is the first batter that she's gotten ahead of, 0-2. Well, definitely, she went. It's the right call.
Look at that stance from Uglasic here. Here's the 1-2.
That's a sign that the ball's going upstairs for sure. As you get older, you're really not able to get in that position though anymore.
The 2-2 offering. Full count now. see Serrano, 33 pitches. She's really had to work hard here in this inning. One pitch away from getting out of it here and giving up just 2 runs. Here's the payoff pitch. Popped up. Serrano coming in and makes the grab in front of the catcher near the line. And that'll end the inning. 2 runs across, 2 stranded, and we've got a good one through 1 frame here in San Bernardino. Elimination game. Northern California leads Southern California 2-1.
And Serrano gives up the lead in this inning, but she helps her cause out, making a shoestring catch.
We move to the second inning, season on the line for Northern California and Southern California, and the kids from Martinez with a 2-1 lead after putting 2 on the board in the first inning. And our first pitch honoree, a Florida Gator, a lefty, and a catcher, Janelle Wheaton, who will come up into the booth and join us here. Chop, chop, it's Gator, Gator. First of all, congratulations on your career. And I've heard a few things along the way, but we've seen some good catching here in this regional.
Yes, definitely. I just saw it here the last half inning. That was awesome.
I got to ask you, that pitch that you threw out was pretty high in the zone. What'd you think about Schuler framing that up for you?
Oh, that's awesome. She's trying to make me look good. That's the whole point of being a catcher. You got to make your pitcher look good, right?
There's Pozos with the leadoff single for the Southridge Little Leaguers. From San Dimas, just down the road, close to, not too far from Fontana.
Yep.
Great brand of softball. What did you learn growing up at this level?
Just seeing everyone growing up in LA County, Orange County, you grow up with so many role models of the sport of softball and how it's grown since then, being 11, 12-year-old to now I'm 22. Just seeing the progression of softball as a game at all levels is phenomenal.
Now, you got to tell us that right before coming in here, you saw the Arizona team, and they were talking to you. What is it like to be able to talk to those girls who have, like, dreams to do what you've done?
That's where I was at 10 years ago. I didn't have the confidence to go up to my role models and do that, so I applaud them for doing that and asking questions. It's all about passing along the information and communicating. Like, that's how you're going to know and learn the game better. So I applaud them for coming up and asking. I'm glad to do that.
Who's your idol? Who was your role model?
Yeah. Stacy Newman, she's catcher, phenomenal catcher, and she's actually from Laverne, California, so just down the street. And it was cool growing up. The Olympics obviously were during that time, and there's a huge banner in downtown Laverne saying "Stacy Newman, welcome home." So I was just like, that's what I want to do.
That's awesome, and it's pretty much on par actually, because so many of these Northern California players have been saying that UCLA athletes have been their favorite role models.
Right.
That's driven by Serrano into center field and back-to-back singles to open up the second inning for Southern California. The catchers have done a really good job here in the heat, and what would you say to them in terms of the adversity you have to deal with at this age? You have to really have a passion, don't you, first and foremost?
Definitely. Catching is a tough position no matter how old you are. You just have so much going on, and especially at this age, you're going up to the next level. So you have to learn more your pitchers, the whole game aspect, and then you have to take care of yourself also. Like you said, the heat, playing in the summer, it's brutal. So you have to make sure you take care of yourself so you can take care of others too.
I'm going to put you on the spot right here. What do you think is the most important thing that as a player at this age of, 11, 12 has to learn or try to perfect at this age as from the catching position?
Definitely communicating, especially you have to be best friends with your pitcher. You got to be the battery, and if it's not without you two, the game's not going to go. So you need to figure out what's going on and what works for her and what's not, especially in the weather. It's tough. It's a mental game at that point too. Obviously, you're here, you can play softball, so you gotta dig deep and help each other out.
2 national titles at Florida. I'm sure those were highlights for you. You had a tremendous career. Here's some a photo of the lefty. Now, what age is this?
That is T-ball, so I was 5. So I played Little League Baseball for 3 seasons, and then I played Little League Softball for 3 seasons before moving on to travel ball.
T-ball's a big moment. I mean,
that's where it starts.
Right? How old is that?
5, 6,
right?
6, yeah.
Yep.
That's where it starts. So.
You're rocking that hat there. I like it.
The throwback, Arizona Diamondbacks right there.
When did you know you wanted to be a catcher?
Well, since I was left-handed, I was very limited as to what positions I can play. Wasn't very fast, so I couldn't play outfield. So then I was limited to pitching, first base, and catching. And then tried pitching. Props to pitchers because that's a lot of pressure and a lot of work. I tried pitching one time. I did not like it. First base, I just wanted to be in every play. So I tried catching out. And back then, it was very rare for a left-handed catcher. Obviously, when you're 7, they're like, yeah, you can play whatever position you want. Let's try it out. And then it kind of just stuck. So I, throughout high school and obviously college, I alternated between the 2.
There's kind of like a stigma out there that if you are lefty, you can't be a catcher. But we're starting to see a little bit more. What advice would you say to any aspiring lefty catchers out there?
Oh, do it. There's no question. There's no doubt, obviously. And you see, I know I played against a lefty catcher at Florida State and a catcher at Georgia as well.
Sacrifice works. Good job by Gaitan to get one down, and she moves the runners to second and third. Are there any disadvantages being a left-handed catcher?
In my opinion, no.
Yeah.
Whatever's a disadvantage for a right-handed catcher is an advantage for a lefty, and the opposite.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just it's something new, and you're changing the game. I think that's why a lot of people are kind of hesitant to let that happen, but that's a part of letting the game grow, and you have to have kids get their opportunities.
As a catcher, when you see your pitcher struggling out there, what is your favorite thing to go and tell them?
Again, so.
That's Taralva, by the way, driving it into center, and that's going to produce a run. Pozo scores, and we're tied up again at 2.
Again, as you get older, you have more of a staff. You're with each other every day. So you got to know your pitcher's personality. Some people can take criticism. Some people need a joke. So just knowing that, and in high-pressure situations, people react different. So you got to keep them calm, obviously, and then just help them out in any way.
I love that. It's just so important, like you said, to make sure you have that relationship with them.
Well, Francesca, of course, 61 career home runs. What was your special? Obviously, you have to be a leader as a catcher. Did you have a specialty that you feel, and you're not probably going to say your teammates will probably tell you, but what did you do best out there in your career?
Ooh.
I can answer for her. She was a stud. Like, she threw people out at second base all the time.
Yeah.
Like, even like this her past senior year, and I'd be on Twitter and I'd see like she threw out another base runner. I thought, like, why do they keep trying to steal off of her? I don't get it.
And that's the best part for catching for me is just obviously your pitcher's mad that there's a runner on first, but you're going to help her out and get that runner out at second. It just gets everyone pumped up and ready to go. So especially doing it at the World Series, that's even better. Or SEC tournament, it's just an awesome feeling.
I'm sure that energizes the offense for the next inning.
Exactly.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Second and third now. 2-0 counts. 2-1 now.
So you've been able to win 2 national championships. What was that like going back-to-back for Florida?
So my freshman year, we beat Michigan, and I don't know. I didn't play as much my freshman year. I got the opportunity to DH the last game, so that was a little nerve-wracking. But winning a national championship, there's no feeling like it. Like the dog pile, it's kind of like a blur. But you go back and watch a video, and you still get chills just watching it. It's a feeling you just can't describe.
We've talked about how the sport's growing. You mentioned it briefly there, the sport of softball, now in the ESPN family of networks. To see it at this level, it's tremendous for these communities, and I got to think the grassroots thing is really going to take off now.
Absolutely. Well, and just within this past year, college softball has grown.
There's a pitch that gets past the catcher's glove, and another run comes across, and a lead now for Northern California, 3-2 as Kira Sullivan touches home plate.
So everyone interrupt you. Let me ask you a question. We just saw that pass ball from Schuler and giving up that run. And, you know, it's so much pressure back there as a catcher. What do you tell young catchers that happens too often? What would you say to them?
There's a base hit as the Fontana kids are feeling it now. A Pineda RBI single, 4-2.
Going back to your question, just obviously that situation is very stressful as a catcher. You have to know what pitch is coming. Sometimes it doesn't work, or it's not going where it's supposed to go. Do whatever you can, put a body part on it. Just knock it down. If you can have it near the plate, obviously that's the main goal. If you can just knock it down, slow it down so the runner can stay at third, that's your main goal.
Now Gomez takes the pitch and no throw as Pineda takes second base. We've seen the rundown between first and second, third and home. What's the best way to deal with that? We've seen catchers run right at people. That's an option?
They've been doing the true delay a lot here.
Yeah, the past couple of years, a lot of people do the trick plays, like falling down at first or like trying to get you to throw behind the runner. First and third is a little stressful. Just you have to see where the defense is playing. As you grow older, obviously it gets more complicated. But main thing is not to let the runner on third score. So do whatever you can. If the runner goes to second, okay, then it's okay. But just making sure that run doesn't score.
We've seen some serious stare downs
down
the line.
Very serious stare downs. What do you think is more stressful? Executing a first and third play in the game or actually practicing it?
Practicing it, absolutely. Practicing it, going through the signs and everything.
Oh, goodness.
Us catchers would be like, what are we doing again? It's like we have to repeat it every day. Yeah, that was definitely more stressful.
Big cut from Gomez, and she strikes out. That's out number 2. Well, little state bragging right thing here, Northern California, Southern California. And did you have a chance to talk to some of the kids from these teams down there?
I know. I was just able to say good luck. I knew it was going to be a good game. So they're excited. They're getting ready to play, so I didn't want to distract them too much. But it's awesome to be out here and see this.
Reyes with a bouncer to third. Titlow has it across in time to end the inning. Janelle, thanks for coming up here.
Thank you so much for having me. Go Gators.
All right, chomp chomp. Couple Gators up here in the booth, and a good inning for Southern California. 4-2 here in San Bernardino as the West Regional rolls on. The Fontana Little Leaguers putting 3 on the board in the second. They now lead Martinez, California 4-2, bottom of the second. Little League Softball provides community softball opportunities for female athletes to engage in a fun, competitive environment. Catch the excitement of the Little League World Series softball tournaments or find a Little League softball program in your neighborhood. Visit littleleague.org. Well, you experienced a great softball career at Florida, and Janelle, a couple NCAA titles, and now the next stage of her life. But so many memories from the time playing there in Gainesville, I bet.
God, just so many. I mean, just to be able to leave your career and say that you won a national championship is incredible. But, I mean, she won 2 back-to-back. Like, that's awesome. I'm totally not jealous at all.
4-2 lead for Southern California. Kira Sullivan leading things off as Southern California scored 3 runs on 4 hits in that last inning. Pozos, Serrano, Turalva scoring runs. And now Serrano, 2-run cushion to work with.
And she has to try to repeat that mantra to her, is that they have the lead and her team offensively is fighting for her. She's even collecting some hits as well. But you see, she's already fallen behind with 3 balls.
Catches the corner with that one, 3-1. Sullivan, a big Warriors fan, and when you're a Warriors fan, you're usually a Steph Curry fan, and that's the case. And she likes Coco Crisp in the Oakland Athletics, sticking with the Bay Area teams. And draws the walk to open up this inning. See, that's the 3rd walk given up by Serrano.
And she's just not as sharp as we've seen her in her previous start. But it's just really struggling with trying to finish her pitches. She's just releasing it too soon. And then when she tries to overcorrect it, she releases it too late. She's got to feel for that pitch. Just let it go.
Alyssa McCarthy, the number 9 hitter. Ball 1. Martinez, California beating Olivehurst. Back-to-back shutout wins to win the state championship up there in Northern California. Phil Raines, their manager. Matt Schuler, Jim Higgins, the coaches. This is just their 3rd game. Southern California has already played 3 games. Pop back, foul ground. And Uglisic trying to get back there. Great effort. Just smile on her face. Did all she could to get to the ball.
And she's smiling because sometimes, you know, you pop out, you're thinking you're going to dive for the ball, and your body is already leaning towards it. But when you commit and then you start to see that it's just out of your reach, it just makes you giggle. And it happens to everybody.
Fastball's in there. Strike 3 call. That was a beauty from Serrano. 1 away.
Yeah, and that's the pitch that Serrano has to start locating better. You see Uglisic is actually set up on the outside corner. It floats back in. Credit Uglisic for sticking that pitch.
Now the dangerous top of the order, Stevie Fong, who walked her first time up. This is where you've really got to be careful with this Martinez team. First pitch, strike 1. Fong has the speed. Stenson, a pallet, and Schuler can all swing it behind her.
And more importantly is Fong has a lot of tools that she can use to try to get on base, not just swing away.
Lays off of that high pitch. 1-1. She likes math. It was not, that's not the one I would go with. But we have mathematicians and we have people that like other subjects. Some people find their way through those somehow. Here's the 1-1, right back to the circle. Good play by Serrano. Throws out Fong. Sullivan moves down to second.
Now Serrano showing us that she can field her position. There's a hard comebacker right at her. Fong gets all of this, but finds the glove of Serrano. And she gets it quickly, fires it over to first. In that situation, you want to have your shortstop kind of yelling 2-2-2, try to get that lead out.
Now you've got first base open, and here's Mackenzie Stenson, who singled her last time up. She drove it to right field, scored a run in the first. red hot, has the power to go with the contact, and she is an active kid. Look at all those things besides softball. Pulls it third to the second baseman. Pineda can't handle it. Sullivan rounds third. She'll score as it's bobbled in the outfield. And it's 4-3.
And this kind of goes back to how important it is to always try to get that lead out. You have that runner at second base. Stenson tops it. This is a tough play for any second baseman to make when you're moving to their left with a lot of bouncer on it.
So an error on the second baseman, and it's a one-run game now, and here's a Pallet. Scored a run in the first inning. Liner right at Pineda to end the inning. Southern California still has the lead. Martinez pushes a run across. Competitive game here in San Bernardino. The championship of the West Regional is 6 p.m. on Thursday. Here's what we know so far in our first elimination game today. Oregon beating Alaska 9-4. So Washington and Oregon in a rematch, our first game tomorrow. And then Arizona awaiting the winner of this one tomorrow at noon. Washington and Arizona undefeated. Oregon keeping their season alive. And it's going to be interesting down the stretch to see who represents in Portland at the Little League Softball World Series.
That's the goal, though. Make it up there to Alpenrose.
4-3 game now as Southern California has out-hit Northern California 6-2, but the top of the order has done a good job keeping the Martinez kids in there. Fong's first pitch to Uglasic, who's way out in front, is pulled foul. Catcher's really been good. RBI single, her first at bat, but she was key in their victory against Hawaii.
She totally has that bulldog mentality, the perfect type of mentality that you want as a catcher. One of those, she will run through a brick wall to get her job done.
Lunch pail mentality. Pulled down the line, foul. I think she liked that pitch.
She's just a little bit early on that. As you see, she cuts it off. When she makes contact, her barrel is literally on the other side of that ball. And that is what her first base coach, Art Gomez, was telling her, trying to tell her to level out and to stay extended through it and not to cut it off.
1-2 is bounced up there. Some changes defensively. for Northern California, and that hits Uglasic. She's on to open up this inning. Kostophilis is in right field. Spies is in center field. And Watson at left now.
And this pitch is coming away from Fong as it gets right on the tippy toes of Uglasic there. Any way you can get on for your team right now. And that gives them that leadoff hitter on first base.
Alondra Salas pitches high, throw down to second on the money. Got her. Good throw by Schuler to get Uglasic.
Well, Uglasic has already thrown a runner out today, and her counterpart, Sammy Schuler, says, hey, watch me. Just a bullet down that line, easily gets her. And right before Uglasic took off to go to second base, Carlos Serrano from the third base box was trying to get her attention and was trying to shut down the play. He did not want her to steal, but she did not get the sign in time.
That was a perfect throw.
It was on the money.
I mean, when your shortstop doesn't have to hardly move the glove, right in that area.
That's the goal. And for a shortstop, you have a runner coming in as hard as she can, cleats up typically, and all she wants to be able to do is quickly tag that runner and get out of the way.
And Janelle Wheaton, your Gator compatriot, she talked about what energy you can get when a catcher does throw out a runner, and they're hoping to feed off of that. There's a walk as Salas is on. Looking for training and information for coaches, umpires, league volunteers, and parents? Get free backyard tips, practice plans, drills, videos, and more. Visit littleleagueuniversity.org today. The winner goes to the semifinals here tomorrow at the ballpark and gets Flagstaff, Arizona. Southern California has been in some real battles through this regional, some exciting games. A 3-1 loss to Arizona, a 5-4 win over Hawaii. They're locked in a good one here.
And really, it's their aggressiveness in the batter's box, and they know their zone. They don't swing at very many balls, and if they do, there's always a quick adjustment on how to get to it.
Pulled and just foul.
That was a close ball there down that left field line. You know Pazos was wishing that would be fair. Just completely scorches this one.
Did that go over the bag?
I don't know. It's kind of close.
The home plate ump, Jeff Braun, made the confirmation it was a foul ball. That's driven to left. It's going to hang up there, though, and it's dropped by Watson. And runners at first and second.
And Pazos gets jammed on this ball, are unable to really get extended, and Watson running in just overran it and keeps this little rally alive for Southern California.
Serrano now trying to help her cause. Big fan of Ariana Grande. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Popped up. Second baseman charging, can't get there. Hill, and everybody's safe. The bases are loaded. Well, two balls that could have been outs, but the inning now could develop into a big one for Southern California with the bases loaded.
And there's actually an
infield fly there. It's out, second out, but they catch a break there.
And we talked about how important communication is, and in that play, you have to be talking whose ball that is. And this is something that will come as you get older and as you play more softball, but you want to be the one that's making the play. You can't rely on someone else to do it. You always have to think it's yours until you're told differently.
Gaitan with the late swing fouls that one off. She had a sacrifice bunter last time up there. A couple runners out on second and third she'd like to bring in.
Oh, that was a good pitch from Stevie Fong. She wanted that strike 3 call right on the corner.
Full count. Ball 4, bases loaded. Well, that'll bring up Rosie Chiralva. She drove in a run with a single her last time up. Big fan of Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, and the Angels. First offering, big cut, strike 1.
She's a fan of Trout and Pujols. I think she's a fan of home runs then.
She likes to swing the bat. She'd also like to go to Paris. But first, an opportunity with the bases loaded. And she drives it to right center field, and it drops. 2-run score. She's into second with a 2-run double, and they're going to put the brakes on Gaitan, and Southern California leads 6-3.
Well, Rosie Chiralvo coming up big in that 9-hole. Just rotates that lower half, keeps her barrel on this ball. And that's able to get 2 more runs for Southern California. This entire lineup's able to contribute through here.
2 for 2 now for Chiralva. Now it's the top of the order, Pineda. This is a well-rounded team. They, as you mentioned, have the ability to get it done with speed and power. Pineda drove in a row with a single her last time up.
And you can't count out their defense too. They have some pretty great defensive players.
Hitters count here 2-0. She lays off of that one, 3-0. And they get this done with 2 outs. The teams that can score runs with 2 outs, that's a sign of a championship caliber team.
And you practice that. You practice having at-bats with 2 outs. You practice 2-out situations. It's not just, go out and let's take some swings today. It's situational type hitting. You put runners at second and third, first and third, 1 out, 2 out, and that helps prepare you mentally.
Pineda draws ball 4. She's on, bases loaded again.
And kind of that same situation I said earlier, this is one of those moments where you need someone to call timeout and go talk to Fong.
Tatiana Gomez now, one of their stars, a chance to add to this lead with the bases loaded. Check swing, 1 hopper, and an easy play for Stenson to the bag to end the inning. Southern California does get some insurance, 2 more runs. They leave the bases loaded, but Rosie Chiralva delivers in a big way.
Chiralvo coming up in that 9-hole, bringing the fire today, gets her team 2 more runs.
A hot summer night and time to hit the concession stands here at Al Houghton Stadium. West Regional double elimination tournament here. The winner crowned tomorrow night will go to the Little League Softball World Series in Portland. This is an elimination game, and Southern California leads by 3. They've out-hit Northern California 8-2. And Tatiana Serrano facing the middle part of the order. Sammy Schuler to lead things off for Martinez, California. She's gotten the run support in this one. Has just one strikeout. That came in the last inning.
No, she's not really a pitcher who collects a lot of strikeouts. She's someone who likes to try to produce a lot of ground balls, a lot of pop-ups as well.
Lululemon is the dream job for Sammy Schuler.
I get it. It's a solid discount you get for working there. I've thought about it a couple times.
Cleanup hitter with a style sense. Here's the 2-0 on the corner, 2-1. See more balls and strikes so far for Serrano.
And that's really not her MO. She's someone who really stays around the zone, doesn't walk very many people.
Pulled to Pozos on the grass at short, 1 down.
And if I had to guess, I'm guessing that Serrano wanted to make an adjustment after that game against Nevada, where Nevada came out, or excuse me, Arizona came out very aggressive and they were swinging at everything. She was getting hit. So she wanted to make sure she was more careful against a tough hitting NorCal team.
Mallory Hill walked her first time up. Set a fastball for a strike. Now that is a great role model to have. Her 5th grade teacher, Mrs. LaPointe. Good job.
And I was just gonna say, if Mrs. LaPointe, if you're watching, way to go. Gave you a thumbs up sign too.
Awesome, absolutely awesome. You see moms as role models, dads as role models, teachers as role models. That's top of the charts right there. One and two now. Didn't chase that one. Tried to get her to fish a little bit, 2 and 2. Little looper, Pozos. 2 down. We've had a run or more scored in every inning so far.
And I think that's what we expected from these two clubs. I mean, they know how to swing it. We got some good pitchers tonight, but the intensity of every single one of these swings from the girls, you know that they're going to be able to find gaps.
Here's Jade Watson-Finta, who came in defensively in left field in the last half inning. She'll hit for Holiday. And there you see it. No zeros there so far.
Just every team responding after the other one delivers. I love it.
Ground ball hit to second. Pineda to her left. And a 1-2-3 inning, the first we've had in this game. Tatiana Serrano starting to find her groove. We're through 3. Southern California leads Northern California 6-3. Little League Softball provides community softball opportunities for female athletes to engage in a fun, competitive environment. Catch the excitement of the Little League World Series softball tournaments or find a Little League softball program in your neighborhood. Visit littleleague.org. These youngsters are getting a taste of what it's like to play at the West Regional here, Little League Softball World Series, right around the corner in Portland. And it has been a fun brand of ball being played. We started on Saturday. It's going to wrap up tomorrow night in the championship game at 6 p.m. California time. And Southern California is going to go to Karen Valencia here for the first time at the plate. She hits in Reyes' spot in the order. Well, can they keep the streak of scoring in each inning alive? That's hit hard foul. They made good contact against Fong.
Yeah, they've been really on her inside pitch. Her inside fastball is what they've been able to square up the best tonight. And then one of their strategies is to always get on top of the plate. That's what probably the biggest thing that they do is they force Fong to pitch it inside and to make that pitch without hitting them.
Valencia fouls that straight back. There you see the strikes to balls for Fong so far. Fights that one off. Both of these teams lost to Gracie Schmitz, the Arizona hurler, who has been lights out for Flagstaff. 3-1 losses for both of these teams against Arizona.
And when you look at the two teams that are undefeated so far, Washington has Christina Minor, and then Arizona, Gracie Schmitz. Those are just two strong pitchers that have performed every time.
And that hits Valencia. She's aboard to open up the inning. And look who's here, decked out in the red visors, the Flagstaff Little Leaguers. They surprised Southern California, opened this tournament, and unscathed at 3-0.
Well, they're going to face the winner of this team, so they're doing their scouting report right now.
They've seen them both, but they're anxious, I'm sure, just to get out there again. You know, coaches will always tell you, we don't care, who it is. And players probably the same way, you play your best, the rest should take care of, and it's all that coach speak.
I was going to say, that's the answer they give the media.
If we focus on ourselves, let the chips fall where they may.
There's always good matchup. There's always people that you rather face than others, just because of what that matchup would look like.
2-1. And I'm sure we'll see Schmitz tomorrow. They've used Baca as well. Gianna Baca, shortstop, is a good athlete as a pitcher. Yuklasic stays away from that high fastball.
And that's another big reason why Southern California's found success off of Fong is they're not swinging at that pitch. And that's a pitch that she gets a lot of strikeouts on.
That's hit in the air towards short. A Pallet has it. One away. Of course, great softball in the state of California. And they have 5 titles. Last in 1990, though. Maybe this is the year.
I know, they need to get up on the board. It's been some time. It's kind of surprising to see that it's been that long.
Oregon in 1981, when you look at the West region. Hammered foul by Alondra Salas. So many great athletes in this state in so many different sports. A lot of options for kids to play a lot of sports, and Salas drives it into left, and that's a base hit. Couple runners aboard now.
Well, we talked about the adjustments that Southern California makes in the middle of their at-bat, and that is what Salas does. She's able to get on top of this pitch that's elevated and drive it to that left fielder.
Trying to score again here in the top of the fourth. Miranda Pozos at the plate. First pitch drives it into left field. Valencia rounds third and scores, and they keep the string alive. They've scored in every inning, and it's 7-3.
Miranda Pozos having herself a tournament, and she does so because she is right on top of the plate, and she's able to get those outside pitches. They look like they're right down the middle, and she shoots it right back up there.
10 hits now for the Southridge Little Leaguers, and they'll have a conference in the circle. Martinez doesn't want this one to get away from him here, and it's a chance for another big inning.
And just the same thing's probably being said. Just trying to calm them down, let them know, hey, okay, we got first and second, we got a forced at third. Let's just try to get us a ground ball right now and step on third base. Or even something as a ground ball to your shortstop, a pallet, and try to turn a double play.
Pozos has a couple singles now. She's also reached on an error, and here's Tatiana Serrano. She has a single as well. And if she does become a sports journalist, she can write about this moment down the line or talk about it. And she hammers it into center. Salas comes around third. The relay throw is cut off. Runners on the corners. RBI for Serrano, and it's 8-3.
Southern California definitely has their timing off of Stevie Fong right now, as another batter is able just to get their hands extended. Everything just looks extremely smooth when they swing. They're not having to fight too much. It's just happening for them.
One in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 more here in the fourth. A balanced, consistent effort from Carlos Serrano's squad. Reyes is now pinch running at first base. And a new pitcher, Kiyomi Apalit, is going to get the call here for Martinez, California. An 8-3 game, top of the fourth. We'll be back with the pitching change. An 8-3 game here in San Bernardino. Runners at first and third for Southern California. The Little League Grow the Game Grant Initiative has distributed over $2 million at the local level. That ball is going to get away, and another run scores, a throwing error. Coming in to score is Pozos. Reyes now at third base, and it's 9-3. Fontana, California starting to pull away.
We were just talking earlier about how much pressure those first and third situations are.
Gaitan, a big cut, swinging for the fences. Three consecutive singles. $11 hits already for Southern California. We're in the top of the fourth. And Kiyomi Pallet in the circle as the relief pitcher for Fong. "12-year-old, mostly played shortstop for this team. Fastball misses. Favorite players, Bree and Kylie Perez. And there is a ball 4 to Gaitan, and now runners at first and third. Well, this team looks completely different from the one we saw against Arizona in game 1. They are cruising, playing their best softball at the right time, and looking for a berth in the semifinal against that same Arizona team tomorrow. Now pinch hitter. This is Emily Rodriguez at the plate. Squares to bunt and misses on it. Rodriguez hitting for Taralva, who has a RBI single and a 2-run double so far. But it's mandatory play. Everybody on your roster has to play, and they get her in a pinch hitting opportunity here. Check swing and strike 3, and there's the second out of the inning.
You know, the second out, and Pallet able to get her first strikeout of this game. And this is a big out for her, as Rodriguez just is surprised with how inside it is and cannot get her hands extended. But Pallet, great job being able to come in and get a big out for her team.
Now the leadoff hitter, Pineda, with runners on the corners. There's spark plug. Ooh, almost hit her, had to duck down away from that one.
Surety has an advantage since she's already a little bit shorter. That could have been really scary if it got her right in the face.
Very quick. 2-0 pitch is outside, 3-0. There's a strike. Inside part of the plate with that one, 3-1. Northern California got 2 runs in the first and 1 in the third, but a barrage of hits from Southern California. The difference in this one, 3-2 now. They didn't have to travel far, just 14 miles down the road. Fontana Little Leaguers. 3-2, and Pineda with a single to left. It's a 10-3 game now. Pineda picks up her second RBI. As that scores Reyes.
I mean, it is just so difficult to try to figure out how you're supposed to get any of these batters out for Southern California. As you see, Pineda just gets to contact. That is her goal right there. Contact, extension. Doesn't even fully finish.
Now Tatiana Gomez, and she represents the 13th run here with 2 outs in the fourth. The 10-run rule comes into play after 4 innings in this case, because Southern California is the visiting team. It could come into play if they can get to a 13-3 advantage. Gomez has a lot of power at the dish, the 1-1. Menudo, her favorite soup, we understand.
That's
we looked it up, right?
We did. It's like a Mexican soup, it said. Sounded delicious.
Yeah, we've been hungry all regional. Here's the 2-1. They've done a great job of feeding us here, but we still have talked about food quite a bit.
When we talk about it a lot, it just gets your mind going, you know?
Doesn't matter if it's the early morning hours, first game, or the last game. Here's the 3-1. Bouncer, a pallet has it, coming out of the circle, and a nice play, athletic play from the pitcher to end the inning. 4 more runs, though, and it's now a 10-3 lead.
You know, Southern California not showing any signs of slowing down as every batter is contributing in this big lead for Southern California.
The Fontana Little Leaguers leading the Martinez Little Leaguers in a NoCal-SoCal matchup here for the right to go to the semifinals at the West Regional at Houghton Stadium in San Bernardino. 10-3 lead for Southern California. They banged out 12 hits. They've scored in every inning. Their biggest inning, the last, the top of the 4th, as they put a 4 spot up there. And now a lot of work to do for Northern California. Mariah Titlow scheduled to lead things off against Tatiana Serrano. And Titlow popped up to the pitcher, her first time up. Well, if they can get some runners aboard and get the heavy hitters up there, they could carve into this deficit a little bit.
You know, and especially, you know, trying to have a strategy when you go up to in the batter's box against Serrano. She's just moving the ball back and forth between in and out. You know, cut the zone in half.
Works ahead on the count, 1-2.
And that all goes into communication that you have with your players. Trying to tell them what you saw from her, you know, how many times she came in, how many times she went outside. And then just being able to have a better idea of what you want to swing at.
Good job there by Uglisic, framing that one just off the edge of the plate.
You saw where her glove ended up, and it was beautiful, but where her body was way outside.
Fastball fouled off. Oregon and Washington, our first semifinal tomorrow morning. Arizona awaiting the winner of this one in the other semifinal, and then the championship game tomorrow night. 6 p.m. from San Bernardino.
It's hard to believe that after tonight we're only going to be left with 4 teams.
21 games here. Started Saturday, and each game has had a different flavor to it. Here's a 3-2 and a base hit to center field. Good at bat for Titlow to get aboard. The morning games cooler, middle games very hot, and it's comfortable right now.
Yeah, Titlow was battling this entire bat against Serrano, fouling a lot of pitches out. And mainly Serrano was pitching her inside, but finally able to get a ball in the outside corner that she can drive.
Now CeCe Spiess is going to hit in the 8th spot in the order. Spiess is in there as a center fielder now.
You want to know how I know that this NorCal team's a UCLA fan? They're doing the UCLA cheer chant right now.
Well, there you go. I'm sure the Perez sisters were involved in getting that started, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great to see the influence of NCAA softball players on these young kids, and they've been positive role models.
You know, it kind of surprises you, too, when you get to that level because, I mean, you feel like you're that age. You feel like you're 12, 13, and then all of a sudden you go play college ball and you come back home and people think you're a superstar. And
You
like,
are
what?
a superstar, yeah.
You're like, you guys think I'm cool? You're looking up to me? What? Just really all comes full circle at one point.
It's great to see the exposure. Now Little League getting this exposure. And Alpenrose Stadium is going to be hopping up there in Portland for the World Series. Spiess strikes out number 1.
And Serrano being able to go upstairs with this pitch. We haven't seen her throw that high fastball often, but when she does, it brings the heat.
Tatum, Costaflis, Tater hitting in McCarthy's spot in the order. Playing right field now. Goes low to try to get that one, 0-2. Costaflis, a Jenny Finch fan. She likes the Cubs and the Dodgers.
Uh-oh.
2 National League teams.
I don't know about that.
So if they meet, she's got a conundrum. If they were to meet in the playoffs.
I used to be a Cubs fan until they met in the playoffs like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, you got to go with your hometown team, the team you started with, right?
Yes.
Can't change it up.
I agree.
And that one skips away from the catcher, Uglasic, and moving up is Titlow to second base. You also got to go with the tradition. I mean, the Dodgers have a lot more titles. I mean, let's face it. I mean, but she's going with both of them. That's okay. Here's a 2-2. Skips away from that one. And Titlow over to third base. I'm not telling her what to do. I think it's great. I think it's great.
I like to hear your thought process on it.
Well, I know you're not going to argue with me. You're a Dodgers fan.
I know. I have nothing to say. You're supporting my team.
Full count to Costaflis. Chance to get her team a little bit closer here. There's a bouncer in front of the plate, and the throw is made late by Serrano. An infield single for Costaflis. Runners on the corners now.
This is just one of those weird, slow developing plays. As you see, Costaflis gets us on the end of the bat. And Serrano, when she tried to feel it, it looked like she was almost going to fall over. So she had to try to get her feet underneath her, just too late.
It's the 4th hit for Northern California. Now a conference in the circle and a water break here. You want to play Little League in your local community? Visit playlittleleague.org. Enter your address, find a Little League program near you. You know, we talked about the heat here, and it is still hot in the evening hours. It's 90 degrees. We've seen the temperatures top out at 107, 108 this week. And they've done a great job giving these kids water breaks, getting them in the shade. They've really taken care of them here at Al Houghton Stadium. More strikes than balls now for Serrano.
Man, Serrano, as you see, she's 38 strikes. Not as effective as we're used to seeing her, but she's still figuring out how to get it done.
Stevie Fong with 2 runners aboard. Gonna lay the bunt down. Serrano, only play at first. It's late with Fong's speed. She gets the infield single off of the bunt, and the bases are loaded.
And this has got to be your strategy for Northern California. Let's shorten our game up, put some pressure on the defense, and that's what they've been doing these last 2 at-bats as Fong reaches safely. Just great footwork in the batter's box there for that bunt.
And Francesca, guess who's coming up?
Oh, I saw.
And now we'll have a meeting for the team in white and green here as Mackenzie Stenson has to be excited about her opportunity with the bases loaded. And pitching change looks like it's coming for the South Ridge Little Leaguers. They will make a switch here with Stenson coming to the plate. We'll take a break. Bases are full for Martinez, California, trailing by 7. We're back after the pitching change. Little League would like to extend its appreciation to its official sponsors like Baseball Factory and Cigna, who help to maintain the strength and leadership of the Little League program. Little League would also like to thank its dedicated volunteers who make this program a special experience for millions of children. 10-3 game here at Houghton Stadium and a pitching change. Tatiana Gomez is in the circle. In for Tatiana Serrano in this 7-run game. Here's what she's done so far. Started the game at third base as she faces Mackenzie Stenson here, who could really take a big chunk out of this deficit with one swing.
You have to keep the ball low and away from Stenson. That is your only luck of trying to get her out.
Nowhere to put her. 1 out. And a chance for a big inning for Martinez. Big cut, 1-2.
And that's the thing you have to remember if you're Gomez, that Stenson wants to get a big hit. She's a free swinger. So get her something outside that she's gonna swing and miss on, and that is exactly what she just did there.
Fastball bounced up there, gets past Uglisic, and here comes the runner scoring from third. As Sullivan steps on the plate to make it 10-4, a wild pitch.
You see this pitch just gets away from Gomez as Uglisic tries to get her glove on it, just tips it a little bit. And the only good thing that happens for Southern California is that it opens up first base.
2-2 the count. And that one, a wild pitch. And another run scores. And Fong now down to third base as Costaflis comes across, and it's 10-5.
Tatiana Gomez struggling with this fastball, locating it. Her hip is just way too closed off. She has to open it up a little bit sooner to execute that pitch.
3-2, swing and a miss. And she strikes out Stenson, big second out.
You see Stenson walks away with a big smile on her face because she sure tried to get a hit. But she still knows that they're able to get those 2 runs. And that ball's elevated as well. Stenson just tried to pull it. That is why she wasn't able to catch up to it.
Kiyomi Apalit. Northern California's had some good moments offensively. The only inning they did not score was the third. Apalit, 2-sport star, basketball and softball, great athlete. Would love to drive in another run. That climbed the ladder, that fastball. Southern California's offense has given them a bit of a cushion. They've needed it here. 2-1.
No, you're right. I mean, their offense was just completely on fire so far. And as you're seeing, both the Tatianas kind of struggling to get into the zone.
Pulled towards third, staying with it. The third baseman, the throw to the plate is off the mark. Now Salas over there could have recorded the third out by going to first. She opted to come home, but there's no force play there. Uglasic could not make the tag anyway, and it's 10-6.
Well, Salas started this game off in center field, just got moved to third base with the pitching change. And I think she might have forgotten how many outs there were because there was 2 and she just needed to throw to 1. And that goes right back into how important communication is. You have to be calling 1 on that.
Now Sammy Schuler swings and misses, throw down to second. Do they have a Pollitt? They do. Good throw by Uglasic to get him out of the inning. The catcher with a $16 runs on the board. Game recap in this one. A lot of offense.
Now, if you like hits, you're going to love this game. We've been able to see Southern California really string a lot of hits together. Northern California getting on the board, putting the ball into play.
Second inning. This is a Stenson roller that was an error that scores a run for Northern California as they get a run there. But in the third, Taralva, a 2-run double as they push 2 across, and then 4 more in the fourth. 16 runs, 17 hits so far, and it's been like a video game.
And my favorite is Taralvo. She's in the 9 hole. You don't really see that much offense from that part of the lineup, but she's been a firecracker for them today.
Southern California scored 10 against Utah. They have 10 here against Northern California. They've needed them. And a Pallet works into her second inning of work in relief as they try to stay cool here at the ballpark. The young ones and the older ones here at Al Houghton Stadium.
Got to teach them young, bring them to the park.
This looks like that old school American League Brewers Red Sox game where the ball's flying all over the place, and it's been a game where we haven't seen a home run, but we've seen some hard hit balls and some innings where teams have strung hits together to put runs on the board.
And really, we've just seen a lot of batters square balls up. We haven't seen very many solid hits the entire tournament, but Southern California and Northern California are just doing a great job staying in the zone when they swing.
2-0 to Trinity Reyes. She looks at a strike. Now you got a hitter's count 3-1.
And if you're a Pallet right now, you're just trying to get out of this inning as quickly as possible. You're thinking 1, 2, 3. You can't give any free passes.
And that's a line drive, base hit left field. Reyes, and it runs past the left fielder, Sullivan, and it's a hit for Reyes to open up this inning.
Well, Reyes just turns on this ball and hits a laser to left field, and the left fielder, Watson, she tries to cut it off instead of taking the deep angle to get to it.
That's a baker's dozen now, 13 hits, and here's Uglasic with an RBI chance. Safe to say they found their offense, and that's a good sign if they advance to play Arizona tomorrow. That's gone opposite field for Uglasic, and a single for her, and here comes Reyes to the plate, and she beats the throw, and it's 11-6.
And you practice this, and you talk about it, and you say, hey, change spots with me, and that's what Uglasic did. Sends this one right to right field.
Couple RBI singles now for the Southern California catcher. Hits keep coming. And you don't want to be the hitter that is not able to step up. And there's the Solace with contact. Backhanded by Fong. She can't make a throw, and that's an infield single. 3 consecutive hits here in the 5th.
Well, the shortstop Fong was pinching up the middle in case Uglasic decided to steal, and it left that 5-6 hole open. She's able to stop it, but can't make any strong throw.
Nobody out. Miranda Pozos has 2 singles and an RBI. Pulls it. Fong to third. In time. They cut down the lead runner. Heads up play there. 1 down.
It's another first pitch swing, an aggressive swing, but Fong making sure that she knows how to get that lead out. I like the will from Serrano, Carlos Serrano, trying to say it's safe, even though she was 3 steps out.
You got to sell it. Now Serrano hitting it right to the bag. Stenson steps on the bag to retire Tatiana. That moves runners up to second and third.
I feel like the last 3 batters, they all swung at the very first pitch that they've gotten from a Pallet, and that goes right into their strategy. They're early swing hitters.
And here's Jessica Gaitan, who was patient her last 2 trips drawing walks. Let's see if she's more aggressive with this at bat. "15 hits now for Southern California. I mean, they can go toe-to-toe with, you know, Washington, who we've seen as an offensive machine in this regional. They're as good as anybody offensively. This Fontana team, big cut there.
And we keep saying how different this team was than the first time we saw them against Arizona. And we have to remember not only how strong Arizona is, but that was the first game of the tournament. So nerves were in play in that game for Southern California.
And it happens. It's softball. You'll have an off day.
And especially, I mean, how many times have these girls been able to play on TV, on ESPN? And so that's obviously a factor as well when they first started, but now they're used to it.
Strike 3 call. Good pitch from a Pallet to get them out of the inning. Another run across as Southern California has scored in every inning. Uglisic having a big game at the plate.
Yeah, Uglisic just continues to do so well in this tournament, going upstairs to get this RBI single.
An 11-6 Southern California lead over Northern California in this elimination game. No, that is not a full moon, we're told. It's not. Sure looks like one. But we have seen the bats come alive here, and the softball must look about the size of this moon, the way it's coming in, because 17 runs and 20 hits thus far in this one.
I totally agree with you. That is exactly what Southern California is seeing when they're hitting right now. The ball's pretty much on a tee for them.
Northern California has had a good offensive game, but not good enough, but they're still got a puncher's chance here, down 5 in the bottom of the 5th inning, working against Tatiana Gomez. Sammy Schuler leading it off. Pulls it foul. Northern California's played a tough schedule, beat a good Hawaii team, and then lost to Arizona. This is just their 3rd game of the regional. Related to Jolton Joe DiMaggio. Now there's an impressive line in the questionnaire. 1 and 2 now, and that's a swing and a miss. 1 down.
It's such a strong way to kind of come back in this inning and get your first strikeout, the first out with that K.
Now Mallory Hill, the number 5 hitter. They've done a good job rotating Gomez and Serrano in the circle in this regional.
They work really well together as a pitching staff. I like how they use both of them in one game at the same time.
Pulled to third. Salas in time. 2 up and 2 down. Little League softball, regulation 6 innings, so Northern California running out of some outs here, down 5. Look at Salas, who has a couple singles in this one offensively. Holiday at the plate, a big Johnny Depp fan. And she really likes the Giants. She's an East Bay kid, but not a fan of the Athletics. She likes the National League team across the bay. One and one. Well, that's a good one.
Seems like those home runs always tend to stick with you more than a great single. It's hard to hit a home run.
You would know. Well, I don't know. Is that true? You've hit 61 of them.
It's hard for me to put a bunt down. That's tough.
I've
never hit a triple. I'll say that. I've never hit a triple. You have to like hit it down the right field line, and I didn't mess with that side of the field.
It's bounced up there. You just said it's hard to hit a home run. You had 61 of them.
It's hard for some people to hit a home run. Well, even I remember playing professionally, and Caitlin Lowe, who is hands down one of the best softball players in our history, a fast slapper. She hit her first home run at the age of 30.
Wow.
And she came into the dugout, and we didn't give her a high five or anything. We just played it cool, and she was like, "That's my first home run." So just really depending on the type of player that you are, I mean, it's tough to do.
Holiday trying to keep the inning going. 2-2. It's low.
And I'm going to keep going, but something too is when you have home run hitters, they're not trying to hit a home run. They don't go in there to try to lift the ball. It's just how their swing is made.
That's pulled towards the third baseman, Salas. The throw's high, and it pulls Serrano off the bag. It's an error as Holiday will reach here with 2 down.
Well, the left side of this field has been getting a lot of action. And this is a hard hit ball with a lot of bounce, and Salas comes up with it cleanly. But I like after the play, the shortstop Pozos went over to Salas and gave her a pat on the back, saying it's okay, it's all gonna be okay. We got a lot of runs on the board. So always got to pick your teammates up.
Mariah Titlow looks at strike one. She singled and scored her last time up. They had a big 3-run fourth, their best inning so far. She's a big Chipotle fan. As we talk food again, swing and a miss, 0-2.
I don't know who's not a big Chipotle fan, and if you're not, I don't trust you.
Well, you can trust me.
Okay. Whew, thank goodness.
Here's the 0-2. That's driven to center, and that is a base hit. It just makes it through the infield. And a couple runners aboard. Titlow, her second consecutive single.
You're starting to see these NorCal hitters figure out Gomez as Titlow gets his ball on the end of the bat. But the ball had some eyes and was able to drop down for that single.
A seeing eye single, hit him where they ain't. And here's Kira Sullivan. They'd like to get something here in the 5th. We're having to, you'd ideally like to chip away at this thing and think of it in terms of we can get 2 runs this inning and 3 next, or some kind of a combination, especially with 2 outs here.
Especially if you're head coach Phil Raines, you want Sullivan to get on base, because then you know in the bottom of the 6th inning you're going to be able to get Mackenzie Stenson up to bat.
Up the middle, base hit to center field. Bases are loaded as they hold up Stinson at 3rd. And Northern California will not go quietly into the night. Their offense has an opportunity to score some runs here.
And this is a good ball from Sullivan. A pitch and low outside, drops the barrel down.
And now Alyssa McCarthy, who struck out back in the 2nd inning, her 2nd plate appearance. conference with Phil Raines here. Very important at bats. Not only could you get a run or two if she can reach, it can bring up the top of the order in Stevie Fong, a very good hitter, and then Stenson following. Likes to keep that hair the same way every game.
That was one of mine too. Go with what's working.
2-0 now. All right, do you have the take sign on here?
I think for McCarthy, probably more than likely yes, but that all depends on what kind of hitter you are.
Three and 0.
And I say for McCarthy, yes, not because she doesn't have any power or the ability to hit it, but in the 9-hole, your job is to take pitches and to turn the lineup over and to try to get to that, your leadoff hitter.
Ball 4, she does her job. Picks up the RBI, and it's a 4-run game as Gomez walks McCarthy. And the tying run's gonna come to the plate.
And this pitch just gets away from Gomez. She holds on for it too long as you see it rotating up and out.
And this one is tightened up here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And now you have Fong, a contact hitter, coming up with 2 down.
And this is a pressure situation for Southern California, and for Northern California, you're looking for anything to try to get momentum on your side, to rally your team up, to understand, hey, there's plenty of ball game left. We're only down 4 runs. We've been able to put up 7 runs so far. That's nothing.
If Fong can reach here, she could get Stenson to the plate. It's already an interesting game, and they're trying to carve into the 4-run deficit here in the bottom of the 5th. Strike 1 from Gomez.
And I think that's what the assistant coach Art went up to talk to Gomez about was, hey, we need to get Fong out because we cannot face Stenson with runners in scoring position.
1-1. Fong has reached via the walk and the bunt single so far. She's able to lay one down for a hit, not just to move runners. Here's a 1-1. Pulls it to second. Pineda, and they get out of the jam. A run across, and it's now a 4-run game here in San Bernardino. Through 5, a trip to the semifinals. Top of the sixth, Southern California up 4 runs. You're looking at the 1978 Little League Softball World Series players from Sunny Slope. Some alums of the Little League that played at the highest level, and it's good to see them supporting these kids as we're going to crown a champion tomorrow night. It heads to Portland, Oregon. 4-run game here, top of the 6th inning, and the Southridge Little Leaguers, they might need to score some more runs the way Northern California is swinging the bat now. Rosie Taralva, big cut facing a pallet here in the top of the 6th inning.
You see, Taralva really wanted all of that pitch from a pallet, but it was way outside the zone.
And she gets her on 3 pitches, a strikeout to open up the 6th for a pallet.
And it's good to be aggressive, but you need to be smart when you're being aggressive. You can't be swinging at pitches out of the zone. And you see that ball just rotating lower down. And Taralva's head was completely pulled out.
Now the leadoff hitter, Paula Pineda. Been very effective in her role, jump-starting this offense. 2-run scoring singles. Oregon and Washington, our first semifinal game tomorrow morning, and then Arizona will face the winner of this one in the other semifinal. Championship, 6 p.m. California time tomorrow night. Pineda drives it into the left center field gap. Shows off her speed and into second with a double.
And that's why you put speed at the top of your lineup, because they know what they're trying to do. And Pineda gets all of this ball, and she's thinking too right out of the batter's box. You see her beginning just to pump as she turns first and ends up at second base.
3 for 4 at the plate. Here's Tatiana Gomez. That one goes back to the screen, and taking third is Pineda. This would be a big run and get him up 5 here. Gomez has had a big regional, a double in this one. That's upstairs. Schuler had to go high to get it. Reno. If you pitch around Gomez, you still got Reyes and Uglisic, who have been swinging it pretty well behind her.
And then Salas, and then Pozos,
yeah,
and then Serrano.
They've got some depth, don't they? And there's ball 4. Gomez is on.
I mean, it's not very often that you get every single one of your batters and pinch hitters to come and contribute.
Reyes pulled the ball last time, delivered a double and scored a run. Bounced up there. Gomez will take second base. Staying put at third is Pineda.
Great job by the catcher Schuler there to keep that ball in front of her. Like we've been saying, when there's a runner at third base, as a catcher, automatic pressure is put on you to be a wall.
Dodgers fan with a chance to drive a couple in. Here's a 1-0. And that bounces away for a moment from Schuler. Now she's going to throw to third, and it hits Pineda in the back. She's safe at the bag.
Ugh, that does not feel good when your runner just gets squared up like that. And Schuler, again, another great job keeping the ball in front of her. And Pineda, being aggressive, tries to go. Hopefully she's okay out there.
Did a great job keeping her foot on the bag. Only one out. A Pallett's pitch is pulled to third. Titlow across to Stenson for the out. She looks back the runners, nobody moving, 2 down.
Good job from NorCal not to get baited by any of the base runners that were pretty much hanging out in no man's land. I could have caused a lot of confusion as they're able to quickly gather the ball up. And you see Pinedo is halfway between home and third.
Now Jocelyn Uglasic, already 2 RBI singles. She's been one of the stars for the Southridge Little League team. Great job behind the dish. Batting in the cleanup spot, pulls it, backhanded, foul ball. Foul ball, the home plate umpire, Jeff Braun, trying to bellow it out a few times for everybody to hear.
You see Uglasic turns on this pitch. And as it bounces, it's picked up and collected in foul territory, and they called it foul right away.
David Bennett was on that. And then got confirmation from Jeff Braun.
Yeah, we've been talking about just how much of a competitor Uglasic is back there. And you can see it in her eyes when she's catching. She gets really amped up. She's super intense.
Look at the Martinez, California fans. Here's a look at that bouncing ball. Off the chalk. Now, if it hit the chalk and then it hit her glove, that's a fair ball.
But she collected it in foul territory.
But was it over the bag first?
I don't think it was.
Well, this is an interesting, they'll take a close look at this. It's a call on the field, a foul ball.
I feel like it bounced foul right before it got to the bag.
Southern California looking for a little insurance here, top of the 6th. And this youngster wondering, what are they going to call here?
What's the call, Mom? She's just happy she's staying up past her bedtime.
Yeah, it's cooled off a little bit here at night. Here's another look down the line again.
Just so hard to tell. What do you think?
Now, all I can say is the hot corner has definitely been the hot corner. The ruling on the field is a foul ball. Here you go. She's stepping on the bag as she touches it.
Let's just say I'm happy I'm not one of the umpires right now. That's a tough decision.
Well, they called it a foul ball. So do they have enough to overturn it? Reverse it?
I don't know. We've seen a reverse today already. There you go. Get the letters right.
Arizona's 3-0. They're awaiting the winner of this one. Oregon and Washington tomorrow morning. It'll be interesting to see a rematch of the Pacific Northwest teams in our first game. Washington really dominated that first matchup, 11-1, but maybe Oregon has something up their sleeve for the rematch. It's tough to beat a team twice, back-to-back.
Oh, very tough. And, you know, Oregon, they're going to be able to already have a good idea of what they're facing.
Here we go. Jeff Braun confirms it. Foul ball. Second and third. 1-1 the count. 16 hits for Southern California. Uglasic trying to get number 17 and drive into now. And she swings and fouls that off, 1-2.
You see Schuler, the catcher, got hit in the hand on that foul tip from Uglasic. Oh, that does not feel good.
1-2, bouncer hit to second, and Hill in time to end the inning. Nothing across, good job by a pallet. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Southern California tries to win it. here in San Bernardino. A trip to the semifinals on the line in the West Regional here in San Bernardino, Southern California in front of Northern California, 11-7, 18 runs, 23 hits. And it could be the last swings for the Martinez, California kids, hoping to rally here as they'll be facing Tatiana Gomez, and leading it off, the power hitter Mackenzie Stenson, who already has a single tonight.
And I liked the pitching plan against Stenson in her last at bat. They literally just pitched everything right on the outside part of the bag, or excuse me, on the plate, just living in that river. And she's a lefty pull hitter, and so she's gonna try to pull everything. So if you keep it away from her, she'll be unable to get extended.
See Uglasic framing outside on the outside corner. There's a swing and a miss, strike one.
And a lot of the times when you're trying hard to turn into a pitch and to really get something going for your team, your swing gets even bigger when you need to try to slow it down and think small.
The main thing is base runners right now for Northern California. Now she's in the hole, 0-2.
And you're seeing Gomez is not going to bring anything inside for her. She's just going to stay in that other batter's box.
Stays away from that one, 1-2. Fontana Little Leaguers just down the road, 14 miles away, trying to get a berth in the final day, the semifinal matchup tomorrow. 1-2, and she strikes out Stenson. Great way to start off the bottom half of the inning for Gomez.
You want to talk about a big moment right here. Tatiana Gomez striking out one of the hardest hitters in this entire tournament, Stenson. Going with that outside pitch, she cannot catch up with it.
What a regional though for Stenson. She has been fun to watch.
She sure has.
If they don't come out of this one victorious, she's been one of the big hitters that's been fun to follow. Kiyomi a pallet now. This Northern California team beating Olivehurst to win the Northern California title. Get them into the regionals. Had a win against Hawaii, tough 3-1 loss to Arizona.
You see this pitch from Gomez. That spin is so hard when it breaks so late. You don't know as a hitter where you're swinging at. You see it come in a certain way, and then when you fire, it moves.
Gomez rocks and fires to third. Salas to Serrano, 2 down. The Fontana fans approve. They're 1 out away.
You see Gomez starting to understand that they're 1 out away from this victory with a smile on her face, but she still has to try to get through Sammy Schuler.
The cleanup hitter for Martinez, California. First pitch is low for ball 1. This has been the game that has seen the most offensive fireworks in terms of both teams bringing it to the table. Schuler just trying to find a way on here. 2-1. Southridge Little League fans standing now, sensing the moment. Trying to go to 3-1 and continue their season in this regional. Bouncer, shortstop, Hozos to first, and they win it. Southern California over Northern California, 11-7. Too much offense for the Fontana Little Leaguers, and they'll take on Arizona in the semifinals tomorrow.
And that's literally what it came down to. You see 16 hits for Southern California, but more importantly is that they scored a run in every single inning except for the 6th.
3-1 now. There have been a lot of stars. Tatiana Gomez in relief this time of Serrano, pitching well down the stretch, but really the fact that they were able to just up and down the lineup deliver hits, the big story.
And we really can't take away everything that NorCal did today, because Southern California came out to a big start, putting up 4 runs in the first 2 innings, and NorCal hung with them. They continued to scratch away at it, but because of the offense that Southern California had, it was just too big of a lead.
So we are set for the semifinal round. Here it is, starting tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Washington and Oregon in a rematch, and then Arizona and Southern California in a rematch, and the winner will be crowned and punch their ticket to the Little League Softball World Series, 6 p.m. tomorrow night.
And I'm circling that Arizona-Southern California matchup. I think we're going to see a completely different game than what we saw a few days ago.
Washington won the first matchup, and Arizona knocked off Southern California, as we'll see how it all shakes out. Thanks to Francesca Anea, I'm Trey Bender. Tune in tomorrow for those games. Big win for the team from Fontana. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night for now from